there's two associative properties that we're going to look at. The first one is the associative property of addition. The associative property of addition. So the addition. Okay, the associative property of addition says that for any numbers, so let's say A, B, and C, you can have this statement be true. A plus, and then in parentheses, B plus C is equal to A plus B in parentheses, and then plus C. Whoops. Plus C. So what this is saying is, and if you go back to the order of operations, you do things that are in parentheses first. So what this property is saying is that if you add any three numbers, it doesn't matter what order you add them in. So you can add B and C first, and then take that result and add A to that. Or you can add A and B first, and then add C later. And the reason this is important is because sometimes it's easier to add numbers in different orders just to make things a little bit easier mentally. For example, if you have 4 plus 6 plus 3, it may be easier to add the 4 and the 6 first and then add the 3. Because 4 plus 6 is 10, and then you'd have plus 3, which is 13. Now, it's not that much harder to add the 6 and the 3 first, which would be 9 plus 4, and you'll get the same answer of 13. And you can actually do that because of the associative property of addition. You can add the 6 and the 3 first, and then add the 4 to that. And it's not going to matter. These are going to be equivalent expressions. They're going to equal the same thing. So in this one, you add the 4 and the 6 first, and you get 10. And then you add the 3, which is 13. And in the second one, the equivalent expression, you get 6 plus 3, which is 9. And then you add the 4 to that, which is 13. So you'll get the same answer no matter which order you add things in. Now that's the associative property of addition. Okay, the associative property of addition. Now for the associative property of multiplication, this is very similar. What this is saying is that it doesn't matter what order you multiply numbers in. So if you have the same numbers A, B, and C, if they're all multiplied together, you have no addition, no subtraction involved in the expression. You just have A times B times C. That's going to give you the same answer, and it's going to be an equivalent expression as A times B and then times C. So it's not going to matter which order you multiply them in. You're going to get the same answer. So an example of this could be 2 times 3 times 4. And that could equal 2 times 3 in parentheses, and then times 4. Okay, so in the first one, you multiply the 3 and the 4 first, because those are the ones in the parentheses. You go by order of operations, parentheses is first. 3 times 4 is 12, and then you multiply that by 2. So 12 times 2, or 2 times 12, is going to give you 24. And you should get the same thing when you multiply the 2 and the 3 first. So if you multiply the 2 and the 3 first, you get 2 times 3, which is 6. And then you multiply by 4. So 6 times 4, will give you 24. So you see, it doesn't matter what order you multiply things in. If all you're dealing with is multiplication, if everything's multiplied, you can multiply the numbers in any order that you want. And this may make sense to you sometimes to multiply two numbers and then multiply the third number. If it's a hard multiplication, it may just make things easier for you to do them in different orders. So those are the associative properties. In the next video, we'll just do some examples using the associative properties.